Good morning. I am Tom Merrill, grateful member of this community. As you are taking your seats, everyone seems to be settled who are here now. Great. It's now time to turn off your cell phones or anything else electronic. As I've often said before, the electronics are devices for us to connect with the outside world, and we don't need them because through Spirit we are already connected. And they just get in the way of our connections as well as the audio systems and such. So please turn them off and greet your neighbors. See if there's someone around that you don't already know well. Good morning. Welcome to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. We honor you wherever you are on your spiritual path, knowing that there is something here for you today, something wonderful in the word and song and spirit of this morning. You'll notice around you we're surrounded by tables with signs on them, each identifying different service teams. I'm sure that will be brought up by others this morning. But I wanted to interject that one table is missing, and that's for the tech teams. If you are at all interested to delve into the area of technology, the video team is looking for volunteers so that we can rotate and not have the same people on each week. The tape/CD team may well be open to people. The sound team sounds like they're in good shape, but if you're particularly driven to be on the sound team, talk to Dana. He's here. So that's that. Please join us now with the morning chant. Words are up on the board behind me, and that will be followed by this morning's spiritual mind treatment led by or offered by our very own Senior Reverend Karyl to take you deeply into your center.
Look at somebody.
I see the beloved. I see the beloved looking back at me.
When I stand next to you, I can feel the beloved. Feel the beloved in you. Isn't that wonderful? Good morning. I'm Reverend Karyl Huntley. And thank you for being here right on time with the time change. You know, as I was driving in this morning, the regular time, not the daylight saving time, but now the regular time, it has gotten less and less and less since I think, oh gosh, decades and decades ago. And so 4 months from now, at the end of February, beginning of March, we will make this switch again. So in just 4 months' time, the winter will be over. and we'll be seeing the evidence of spring, little sprouts. So enjoy it while it lasts. So taking that mystery of time into this prayer, if you would, with me, sitting in the place in my heart where I know the presence of God is. From that sweet place of comfort and warmth and oneness, being able to look out from my heart and know that everything I see is an aspect of the infinite presence, in form or in activity, in idea, in potential, all of it. There is nothing else that exists but the forms and the intelligence and the activity of the Maker. So I know that I was made from this. I was made from the love of God. I was made from the intelligence of God. And I'm here, a divine spiritual being in a physical presence. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each one here. I know that as I look in each face, I see the beloved. As I stand next to each seemingly separate body, I can feel the beloved. I can feel the beloved standing next to a redwood tree. I can see the beloved as a spirit enters or exits this world. It is all God. And so this morning, if there is anything heavy on any heart, I invite that idea of heaviness to be offered up into this space of divine energy. Just say, here it is. Here it is. Just offer it up just like you were passing hors d'oeuvres. Just offer it up to God. And know that the infinite presence knows exactly what to do with that heaviness, replacing it with lightheartedness, joy, light itself in every heart. I release this prayer now into that one divine law, knowing it is good for everybody. And so it is. Amen. I don't think I've ever made that analogy of passing hors d'oeuvres. It just happens when you pray. So, we have a wonderful gift this morning musically. Andoni Panici, here he is. Entertainment business for 12 years as a singer, band leader, and actor. And I know that you can get on his email list and every single thing he does, which is voluminous, wonderful things filled with love and entertainment and consciousness, happen all the time in Marin and beyond. And we have him this morning. Please welcome Andoni.
Faster and faster, this world keeps spinning around. Seems like the more we build up, the more we tear each other down. All the progress and technology won't bring an end to war and poverty until we see that what we really need, all we need is just a little more love, a little more trust in each other. Oh, if we're willing to try, we just might finally discover, oh, all the problems that keep us apart can never be strong enough to stop the power of a little more love. Just a little more love. We've been lying awake, searching for something to say, wanting so much to reach out, but feeling so far away. We keep trying to figure it out, how to break through the distance and doubt, but it just might be that all we really need, all we need is just a little more love, a little more trust in each other. Oh, if we're willing to try, we just might finally discover, oh, love will be our harbor when we're lost at sea. Love is always the answer, whatever the question, whatever you need. And all we need is just a little more love, a little more trust in each other. Oh, if we're willing to try, we just might finally discover, oh, that all the problems that keep us apart can never be strong enough to stop the power of a little more love, just a little more love. It's time for us to love, it's time for us to trust in each other. Time for us to come, got to love each other every day, in every way. Just a little more love. Thank you. Woo. Thank you. What a great rhythm section. Keeping the beat. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Reverend Judith Fleener, a grateful member of this community for over 20 years. I am so grateful for all the connections, and today I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you who filled out your pledge card and allowed us to contribute to the community, to ourselves, and to life. So thank you so much for participating in the Abundance Program. We do know that there's about a third of the people out there that are still filling out their cards. So if you haven't done that yet, they're at the education table today because the pledge program is officially over, but you can still go over here and fill out your pledge card for 2014. And a little incentive for those people, and a thank you for those people that have already filled out their cards. Don't forget that you are getting a free class with Francine Huss, and you can also sign up for that over at the education table. It's called Think More, Give More, Live More, and it's designed to help you to experience that absolute abundance. So everyone who has already pledged, don't forget to sign up for that class. And if you want more information about it, it's also in the bulletin. Everything I talk about today, more information in your bulletin. So giving of your treasure is only one part of being connected in community and being a part of it. The other part is to give of your time and your talents. And by giving of your time and your talents, it also allows you to have that sense of connection with others. I said I was a member of this community for over 20 years. And when I first started, I'd sit in the back and I wouldn't really know anyone. I knew my one friend, Donna, who had invited me, and that's all I knew, my one friend, Donna, who had invited me. And I would sneak in a little late, and I'd sit in the back. But when I really started to feel connected is when I got involved. And the first team I joined was the hospitality team because, I like to throw a good party. So I joined the hospitality team, and I got to be a part of that. And then I joined the usher team because I got a little bit more brave, and I wanted to see people up front. And then I joined another team. And it's really through being a part of these teams that this community became my family. And so I just wanted to point out that around the room today, we have all the different teams represented, and you can go talk to a representative of that team and see where it is you want to play. Where is it that you want to play through this 4 months of winter and into the spring, so that when you come forth in the spring, you can have a feeling of connection in a new way. Another thing we like to do in this community is learn. We have a great opportunity. Janet, will you just stand for a second? Janet is starting another new class. This is one that she created and designed herself and has taught before, and it's back actually by popular demand from the students who took it before. It's called Speak Your Word, Create Your World. And it allows you to learn how to sculpt your life with your words. Because when your words are in complete alignment with the intention that you want to create in the world, there's nothing stopping spirit. So if there's an intention you have that you want to create during this time of winter, go to Janet's class, and you'll be back here to ask questions. And we have another great practitioner. Where's Gail? Gail, stand. Gail has a class for you that you don't even have to sign up for. You just have to come to church next Sunday. Oh, so you do need to. Oh, I lied. There is a sign up. So it's next week, and the reason she needs you to sign up is because what we're making are little mini affirmation cards. They look like this. So whatever it is you're affirming, you can make an affirmation card, and it can be like a little mini treasure map that can go with you everywhere you go. Now, I make these treasure boards every year and put them on my wall, but it's a little hard to take, a big treasure map in my purse with me or in my car. So she'll have all the supplies for you, which is why she needs you to sign up. But if there are special pictures or things you've been cutting out or words from magazines and you want to include them, then bring those with you next Sunday. And last but not least, since this is the month of gratitude, and in our nation we have a day called Thanksgiving, I'd like to let you know that the Walkers have opened their home for anyone who needs a place to go for Thanksgiving and would like to celebrate with community, but maybe your family's on the other side of the nation and you have a place that is home where you can share a Thanksgiving dinner, and you need to sign up for that. Is that also on the education table? Everything's on the education table this week. So please sign up if you'd like to have Thanksgiving dinner with other friends from Golden Gate Center. And now it's my delight to invite Reverend Karyl Huntley, our senior minister, up, the connector of connectors, to finish the announcements and give us a wonderful
So I have a couple of announcements that aren't in your bulletin. So the first is for you Sagittarians. We are on a roll for birthday parties. You don't have to be a Sagittarian to come to the Sagittarius birthday party Friday, November 15th. I know it's a little bit earlier than the cusp, but then we run into Thanksgiving. So it's going to be at Sue Ruta's house, and we had such a great time with the Scorpios. We had 20 people with those wild Scorpios. So for you straight shooting Sagittarians, I hope I got that one right, you are invited to the birthday party on the 15th of November, and everyone else is too. We just get to party with the Sagittarians. So it's a great, fun time, and it's just party. And I talk a little bit about science of mind and astrology, which is a kick. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is that we are going to be doing a GGCSL holiday bazaar on the first Sunday of December, which is December 1st. So all of you artists, we are putting together a little contract for you to bring your wares, and so everybody can do Christmas shopping. So that's going to be on December 1st. So isn't that great? And welcome everyone who is here for the first time. I would love to meet you after the service because I think you've come home, so I have to welcome you home. So the first Sunday now of November, and we are, this is the picture of the year that we've done. We have 2 months to go. Isn't that amazing? The New World and the Ancient Path. And what we have done is find truth in the growing cycle of the year as well as new technologies. And so what we have done here is we have followed what happens in the growing season. And January was conceiving, and I won't go through the whole thing, but generally it's beginning and resurgence through Easter, and then growing, and then hard work, and a lot of sun, and increase through the summer, and then the harvest season starts, and we are experiencing our contribution in the world and the contribution from the world, and then we start into that dark time of the year. And last month we had faith for October, and this month the theme is connection. Because, you know, our ancestors at this time of year, it started getting pretty dark and pretty cold, and it was really important for them not to isolate because they depended upon each other to get them through the winter and the dark time. And so, although I'm pretty sure that there are some people who are experiencing a dark time inside now. I know of that. And so our theme for November is connection. And we're going to think about, experience connecting with one another and really seeing the beloved. That's why we sang that song, and that's why Andoni sang the song about more love and trust. So this is our word, connection, and our altar by Sandra Olvede is all about amazing. Thank you, Sandra. Yeah, yes, applaud the altar. We have a wonderful altar team, which also could use some more people on it, so that the rotation isn't quite so quick. So, here we go. The principle today is we are one, all sharing the life of God. So the spiritual truth that we teach here, which actually is the mystical truth in all religions, once you get by all that stuff about obeying and punishment, is there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And that life is the same life in all beings. So when we recognize this, when we live this, there is absolutely no us and them. No matter what categories you put anybody into, that feeling of, oh, I'm over here and you're over there, that it doesn't happen. It's just like we're all us. We're all family. We're all us. We have different skills and different tendencies, but we're all just us. And when we experience that, when we see the beloved, when we feel the beloved, it feels good, right? It feels great. On the other hand, if we compare, if we compete, if we judge, if we force, or if we try to fool somebody, that makes that illusion that we're separate. And we have to be protected. We have to protect ourselves, we got to watch our back, all of that. And it doesn't feel so good. So the word being connection is deeper than liking somebody. It is really seeing the divine in them. When I look in your eyes, I see the beloved. So there's a story that many, many spiritual teachers teach. I've found it in print many, many times. And if you haven't heard it, it'll be fabulous. And if you have heard it, it's a wonderful reminder. And it's the story of a monastery that was falling on hard times. And they had a wonderful retreat center. But all the monks were growing old, and they were dying one at a time. And on the grounds of this retreat center, there was a little hermitage off in the woods. And every once in a while, there was a rabbi that would come and do a retreat, a silent retreat in the little hermitage. And because this had happened for so long, the monks knew when the rabbi was there. And so they said to the head monk, they said, why don't you go ask the rabbi what to do? Because we're a dying order, and, you know, it's not good. So the head monk did go out and knocked on the door of the little hermitage, and the rabbi came out, and they talked about the spiritual expression in the world. And the rabbi said, oh, you know, I don't know that I can be much help to you because we are losing members also, and I don't know what to do. But just as the monk was about to go, he said, well, there is one thing. One of you in there is the Messiah. And then the monk walked out, and walking back to the monastery, he thought, one of us is the Messiah. And this is really cute the way this is written. Who on earth could it possibly be? Surely not Brother Paul, the slovenly cook. But why not? Doesn't God delight in nourishing his children? Absolutely not Brother Raymond, that silly joker, always acting the fool. But didn't Jesus say that we must become again like little children to enter the kingdom of heaven? And what about Brother Michael, the gardener, so silent and taciturn? But maybe he isn't taciturn after all, just caught up in an inner communion. Doesn't he commune with the flowers and animals like St. Francis and the very patron saint of our order? And so he went back, and all the monks were there, and they said, what did he say, what did he say? And the head monk said, well, it was very strange. We commiserated about our situations, and then just as I was leaving, he said, one of us is the Messiah. And then all the other brothers, they just, wow. And then they went through the same thing. Well, it couldn't be him, couldn't be him, couldn't be him. Maybe it is him. Couldn't be me. Maybe it is. And they started treating each other with such extraordinary respect, and themselves with such extraordinary respect, that the energy of the whole monastery changed. And pretty soon, when the spring came, there was a young family that had a picnic on the grounds. And then they brought their friends. And then one day, a young man asked if he could study with the monks. And the monastery was reborn again, just because of seeing the divine in each other. So, oh gosh, there's a modern version of this, actually, that I'm going to send to you on the letter that goes out. And if you're not on the letter, just go to our website and click subscribe. And so it's about this photographer in New York City who went around the streets of New York City with a camera, and he posed strangers in intimate relationship, just like looking into each other's eyes. And he would take a picture of them. Now, the picture was not what he was about. He was exploring what happens when you put people into connection. And so he asked them after the photograph, how was that for you? And to a person, they all said, wow, I thought it was going to be weird, but it was really nice. It felt really good. And so we're made to do this. We are made to connect. One more personal story. When I was first to the Bay Area was when EST and actualizations and everything was going strong. And so I took a series of these classes, and one of the times we were having this big group meet down by the marina, and it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So on Sunday morning, they sent us all out into the world, and they said, find somebody and engage them in conversation and have a meal with them. Buy them lunch and we'll all see you after lunch. So I was like so ready to find my person. And this was like down in the marina, on Sunday morning, where there were people that I didn't think were like me. But so I found one that didn't seem like me, talking about connection and everything. So I found this guy, and I just, chatted him up, and I saw the beloved in him. And he was so interesting. He took me around to all the people that live on their boats in the marina, the fishermen. And he introduced me to all these fishermen and told me that this one played the harmonica and this one was, fabulous and had some interesting story with him. And then I said, would you like to have some lunch? And he was poor. And so I bought him lunch. And as we were having lunch, he drew a picture for me on, a placemat. And it was an extraordinary time of connecting deeply with a perfect stranger. And it was wonderful. So in this week, I was wanting to encourage you to make a connection, to try a connection. So what I did, I had this great idea. You know how I have these great ideas? At least I think they're great ideas. So I sent out this email to about 50 people. I'm going to read you part of the email. I'm talking about connection on Sunday, connecting with one another. I want to offer a homework assignment to the community, which would be fun, connecting, and potentially invite people into the community. During the talk, I'm going to suggest that some self-organizing groups think of something fun to try in the world that would connect people in a fun way. For example, a group could do the free hug offer in a shopping mall or on a downtown street. Or a group could make fresh cookies and offer them to the public with a smile. Or a group could offer simple face painting in public. Or a group could offer fun stick-on tattoos to strangers. The group could have some of our introductory postcards to give out if the question came up of who they are. This could be a one-time experiment unless it is so fun you just have to do it again. I'm writing to you because I want about 3 of you to be plants in the audience. I want you to declare what you want to do to connect and to invite people to join you, writing your idea on a paper and accepting your group and organizing it after the service. So I sent this out early on in the week to about 50 people. I got several responses. This was a typical response I got. Great idea. I won't be there. Yeah. Yeah. They said, I'm sure you'll find the right ones. No one said, I'll do it. And so I thought about, pushing, like sometimes I do to get my way. But then I thought, no, this is interesting because are we so busy that this really didn't sound like fun to people? Are we so, got our schedule so full that this seemed like another have to? And oh my God, I already do enough for church. And I didn't know what went on in people's minds, that if it's, or if we're, just don't want to make the effort to connect with strangers because our life is too full anyway. And then I thought, even me, people have called me on this after service. Sometimes people really want to connect with me. I mean, they have something that has happened to them during the service, and they want my undivided attention, and they want to tell me, bless their hearts, they want to tell me about a transformation they have. And I am my energy is going so many ways after the service that I don't connect with them, and it hurts their feelings. If that has happened to you, I am so sorry, and I want you to try again, because I believe in connecting. I mean, I usually connect with Safeway people. So I should be able to connect with you, but so I thought this is a really good thing to look at, how to connect with people. So here is a suggestion. We're going to explore experiencing conscious connection. And there are only 3 points to this. You can practice them all separately, but of course they're more powerful together, okay? So first of all, let go of the small self. Now let me talk a little bit about the small self, because we all have one. The small self is competitive. The small self is self-conscious. The small self tends to worry and compare. The small self is all about self-presentation and the impression that they leave. When I'm in my small self, I don't want to exclude me. It's all us here. I'm not talking to you. I'm in my ego when I'm in my small self. And I want to appear special because I'm afraid of feeling inferior. And so when we're in our small self, we feel that we're not enough, and we look for compliments. We sort of plant little comments so that people can say, we want to hear, oh, that's so fabulous, that's so fabulous. Because it feeds that part of us that thinks, oh, I want to really appear like I know I got it together. So they don't know the real thing. So in order to see God in another, we first have to see God in ourselves. So here is a story in 1893. In 1893, Swami Vivekananda arrived in Chicago to speak at the first World Parliament of Religions. Isn't that great? It's all the way in 1893. He was the first Hindu ever to address the American public, and his lectures were so shocking to fundamentalists who regarded his teachings of humankind's inner divinity as heinous blasphemy. Vivekananda often told the story of a lion who had been raised by a flock of sheep and naturally thought that he was one of them. Another lion tried to convince him that he was not a sheep after all, but to no avail, until he took the sheep lion to a pool and showed him his true reflection, the beloved. And this is what Vivekananda said. And you, he said to these fundamentalists who were beaming not nice feelings at him, you are lions. Vivekananda would tell the audience, you are pure, infinite, and perfect souls. He for whom you have been weeping and praying in churches and temples is your own self. So that is who we are. We are the home of God. Each one of us. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to believe it. But I'm telling you, you are the home of God. And I see that in you. And people practiced see the beloved in you. And you're not someone who has to fool others to like you. You are the divine life made manifest. And we are all working to experience and to express that in a more pure way. So the small self is forlorn, separate, scared, and false. It's just a lie. It's not who you are. And when you realize that there is a belief somewhere in there that you're not good enough, bring it up into your conscious mind along with the conception that anyone is inherently lacking, and throw it away. Get rid of it. Say, I am a lion. I am not a sheep. I am a lion. Or whatever it is that you look in the mirror and say, I am the home of God. For the divine self with a capital S is who you truly are. So one way that you can practice this, and for people who have been taught that they're less than by parents or teachers who also were living in an interior impoverished life, if you have internalized that self-judgment, when you look in the mirror, say, there is the face of God. And when you see someone else in healthy self-love, in healthy self-honoring, knowing that the divinity lives within them, study that. Study how they do that without any ego, but just saying, I am the home of God. Just simply, that is the truth. So, the second thing, you got this now? No more self-depreciating thoughts. No more self-talk about how you're not good enough. Because I know the difference. I know the truth. The next one is see through the shell of others. It's just the same thing, only you're looking at somebody else instead of looking at yourself. So others are also trying to give an impression of themselves that is inadequate too. And if you can just kind of brush that away and see through to the divinity within them and forgive unskilled behavior and have compassion for those that are unrealized and don't know who they are. You know, one of the most profound teachings that I ever did in this way was for a while I got to teach at San Quentin. And I taught the pre-release program. These were people who were headed for release, and they were having classes on a lot of things, like how to get a job and keep a job and so forth. And the man who was in charge of the pre-release program was a member here. And so I got to go and talk about spirituality and, that they were all lions and not sheep. And I drew this picture of this onion kind of symbol of our personality, that we like one thing but we can't show that, so we cover that up with something that's bravado, but we can't live in that all the time, so we cover that up with something else. And we have these layers of us, but in the center is the light, the absolute light of God that shines through and you can see it. And I said, when you're out in the yard, you don't have to say this to anybody. You can be just sitting next to the building looking out at the other men in the yard and pick one, and in your mind see the light in them. And just practice that, and no one has to know you're doing it. And I didn't get anybody saying, no energy back that was ridiculous. And in fact, as a population, the men in prison are more religious than groups outside. So they took to that. And hopefully it made a difference. The third thing, see how you can practice these separate, you can work on yourself separate, you can work on other people separate. But then the third one is go about our life practicing devotion. Now this is the way we practice devotion. There's a wonderful Sanskrit Hindu word, namaste. And when you look it up in the dictionary, it says it's a greeting and a leave-taking with hands together and a slight bow. Namaste. We say that to each other. This, however, is the definition that I like better. When you say namaste to one another, it is, I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the place in you of light, of love, of truth, of peace. I honor the place in you where if you are in your God place and I am in my God place, then there is only one of us. And that is living in devotion. That is seeing the God in everyone as you go through life. So this is a story I've been reading today out of Joan Boroshenko's book, The 7 Paths to God. I once met a young man who was a cashier in an airport gift shop. He looked at me with as much respect and love as if I were indeed the Messiah. And he helped me with such care and courtesy that I felt uplifted for days. His smile touched my heart, and I feel sure that when he stands before God, he will be praised for having been truly himself and for loving others as himself. This young man had a job that few people would aspire to. He was not a doctor or a lawyer. He wasn't Moses, Solomon, or David. But he was one of the most important people I have ever met. He was truly himself, and in that act, he was a servant of God who inspired and uplifted others. In his gentle graciousness and humility, this mystic united earth and heaven in his heart. Now, this is an employee in a gift shop in the airport. He has a ministry. Now, you, in your world, have people you interact with, and it's the same. You can have your ministry with the people that you interact with by knowing that the beloved lives in you and knowing the beloved lives in them. So I encourage you to go out into the world and have some of those fun exercises that I suggested. Another one that I thought was really great was to go out with, if anybody has an old Polaroid camera, and write a sign that says, "I'm fabulous," and have somebody hold it up and take a picture of them and then give it to them. You know, how fun would that be, you know? So if any of you do that kind of thing in the world, and I encourage you to do that, I would love to hear the results. I would love to hear the results. And then there is a way that you can offer devotion in this community, and that is to sign up for a service team. Usually the terms of service are 6 months to a year. You can always change your commitment. And there will be people at each table, and I'll say this now because I didn't get to meet with you before the service. Bring the tables out into the room and make sure you put the names of the people that are already on your team so people can see their friends if they would like to join the team. This is one of the ways that you get to see the beloved in each other, because you serve in any number of ways into this community, into this basin that is God in action. And it takes about 80% of you guys serving in some way to make this community happen. So most people do serve. I have one more thing to share with you. This comes from Alcoholics Anonymous material. Keep yourself like an empty vessel for God to fill. Keep pouring out yourself to help others so that God can keep filling you up. The more you give, the more you will have for yourself. God will see that you are kept filled as long as you are giving to others. But if you selfishly try to keep all for yourself, you are soon blocked off from God, your source of supply, and you will become stagnant. To be clear, a lake must have an inflow and an outflow. So we're doing this volunteer fair especially today and next week because there was someone that came to me and said, "I can't pledge as much money as I would like to pledge. Is there another way that I can give to the community?" So how sweet is that? So if any of you feel that way, sign up for 2 teams. So we're going to do the inner work now. And Bodhi and I have a song for you. And if you know it, sing along. It's by Melissa Felipe.
There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one.
Once more.
There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one.
And joining me inside, may it be that we all practice seeing the divine when we look at our face in the mirror, when we look at our hands, when we imagine looking down into our heart, when we dry our feet off after the shower. Know that where we walk is divine. What we put our hands to is divine. The love that beams from our heart is divine. And may we also see this divinity in every other face we contemplate. and know that whatever is in another's life, it is in our life too, for we are one. There is no separation. May we become so porous that where one of us leaves off and the other begins cannot be distinguished. We live our lives in devotion to the God within all beings. Blessed be.
Life is not about heartbreak or hunger or need. It's not about sacrifice that leaves us to bleed. There's something more important that we're born to know. 'Cause wherever we do and wherever we go, it's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love. Love is the miracle of a newborn child. Love is that someone makes your heart grow wild. But however you feel it, it's all the same thing. It's the spirit within you, makes you want to sing. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love. So when the world is overflowing with pain, when you don't remember the sky without a rain, just hold on, help is on the way, bringing a perfect new world, a bright new day. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love. Thank you. Thank you, Bodhi.
I get such a great view from, kind of the side stage here. Love it. You guys are
The
fabulous.
intensity of figuring it out in the moment. What's happening now?
I love what you did there to keep that was great. Would the ushers please come forward? So Judith said that the pledge program is over. I know many of you are still, that it passed so fast it was a blink, right? You didn't know and it was here and gone again. But we do need to know how much you're going to give next year. There's a few cards over here in the little hard hat, the little blue, very soft plastic hard hat. is over there, plus the other things to sign up for. So today, if you would take your gift in your hands and infuse it with that divinity that we've been talking about, that energy that is the life of God, that has your soul print all over it. Just press that into the gift you're giving today. And if you give automatically, just know that you are so appreciated and that we pray over those deposits that we get. And know that as we give, we receive. Not only what we give, we receive, but as we give in faith and love pours into our life. And so knowing that we can't outgive God, put as much of you as you possibly can into this gift and know that God is already filling you back up. Blessed be. Would the ushers please receive the gifts? This is a little roomy chant that we are doing for the offering.
'Cause the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can.
So we bless this offering and the dear, sweet hearts and souls that gave it. I know this offering blesses this community, all of the bills that we pay, and all of the support for the soul of this community as well. Blessed be. Alrighty then, I'll see you. Oh, one more thing. The food is going to be on the sign-up tables. So how fun is that? You just wander around and see what you like. And all
That
the
sounds
sign-
like a trick you use on doggies.
Well, it's worked in the past. People get everything works out fine. And the classes and the Thanksgiving meal and the other things to sign up for and the pledge is on the education table today. So would the practitioners who are on duty to pray the truth for our beloveds come forward, and Judith is going to pray us out today.
And if the rest of the practitioners would surround the room with loving consciousness. So I invite you to go within. As we take a moment just to remember that there is only one power and one presence in this universe. It is something that is constant and has always been present and always will be present. It is that infinite power of love, light, creativity. It has gone by many names through many generations and in many cultures. But this one is of itself the fullness of all. And within it there is a changing nature. So in this constance, there is constantly changing and reforming and emerging. It is that creative nature of love itself that is born anew in each moment. And in each moment, it is born anew in me. For I am not separate for this one love energy, this divine presence, this constance. I am one with it, and it is one with me. And this is true for each and every being on this planet. From the smallest insect to the largest animal. That we are all a part of this love energy that is divinely, creatively expressing. And so in this knowing, I claim a shift in consciousness for each and every person in this room. That they feel deep within their soul that interconnectedness that we have with each other. With the being on your right and the being on your left. And the being on the other side of the planet, regardless of the time zone or the weather. We are constantly connected. Remembering that that is the truth of who we are, I just claim a shift in consciousness, allowing each person to know the truth of the love between themselves and each and every other being, unfolding into greater and greater ripples out into the universe and returning back. For as we give, we receive. As we love, we are loved. And so in this knowing, I just give great thanks. I give great thanks for connection and the truth. And I let it be. And so it is.
So, let's trade here. I encourage you all to stand for our closing song and our affirmation. So right up here, and come back next week, of course. I see the face of God in every face. I sense the life of God in every person.